Hello and welcome to another live stream. How are we doing, Jay?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad at all. It has been a busy old weekend. I had the Friday off. It's been a nice long weekend, but yeah, lots of stuff to do and not much hobby, bar a game of Warhammer. But today we're absolutely getting some hobby on. I'm going to be building some stuff. We had some jet bikes and the Soul Shackle box sent to us from Games Workshop very kindly to review. Unfortunately, due to vagaries of the warp, they turned up a little bit late for us to do the unboxing for them to come out. So what we thought is we'd work on the content on the site instead, on the stream, build them up, paint some models and have some fun. So yeah, so majority of the stream will probably be building Sky Hunters, but I have got the resin ones here as well, so we can do a bit of a side-by-side comparison with them. How about you, Jay? What are you working on today?
I am working on Croak, so I'm continuing with Croak. I'm up to the sort of Jade, so I'm just working on layering up the greens on the Jades today and just taking my time with it, I think, and just enjoying it. It's trying to follow the box art as close as possible, so it's a mixture of all the sort of dark Eldar greens, but yeah, it's a fun model to work on.
Cool.
I've also been pretty busy in the hobby as well, so this week my Eldfall Chronicles pledge arrived.
Ooh, nice.
So I have been. We filmed an unboxing, which will be going up on the website soon. And then I spent the rest of the week building the resin miniatures and all of the cardboard scenery that you get in the sort of core set, putting that together. I even had a game as well with my brother. So
You even had a game,
I'll.
amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It's sort of a semi-cooperative sort of PVE type mission, but the alliance soon broke down and we were fighting each other. But I've got some of the models here in front of me, so I'll go through those shortly and show a few of them off.
Awesome, cool. Well, if you're watching along at home, let us know what you're working on as well, hobby-wise. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing some board games. We've got Frosthaven to play as well, Jay. So it'd be good to
Yeah,
dabble into some board games and stuff, won't it?
yeah. Well, I mean, I've always got Kickstarters on the way.
Yeah,
I checked my Kickstarter account the other day, and these aren't all active projects, but there's 52 backed projects on there.
52. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what we are going to do is build up these jet bikes. And we were talking a little bit before we went live on loadout for these, and I've been quite torn on how to build these really, because let's face it, I'm probably going to end up with like 30 of these, my white scars, and build a few different weapon options.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Have you seen the sprues in person, Jay?
I haven't,
If
no.
I get these on camera. So you get 3 sprues that build the jet bike, and they've got all the weapon options on them as well. So you've got the plasma, you've got the melter, you've got the volkite, and you've got the heavy bolter. The
Okay, yeah.
entire jetpack with all those weapon options is on one sprue. So there might be some possibility to either just push fit or magnetize those weapons as well. Just looking
Ah,
at how the
yes.
sprues laid out, and that makes obviously swapping out the weapons, much easier. So you get 3
Yeah.
of those, one for each jet bike, and then you get a rider sprue, which does make me wonder: could they reuse this rider sprue for the Outrider bikes? Because obviously there's some nice resin ones, isn't there?
These are the ones with the wheels, aren't they? I'm trying to think then what they were. The
Yeah,
smart looking sort of scout bikes, aren't they? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And obviously you can use the current plastic bikes, but they're a little bit dated now, aren't they? I mean, I think they go fine with, say, if you're doing a fully mounted White Scars army, you had some attack bikes and stuff, but you've still
Yeah.
got rules in the, I forget what they call it, like the online compendium.
Oh, like the legends, isn't
Expanded
it? I think.
yeah, it's not even it's fully legal, isn't it? It's like
Oh, the
expanded.
expanded rules. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you can use them, but I do wonder if this sprue will get reused on that. Now it is labelled as Scimitar Sprue B, which suggests that maybe not. Matt H is over on YouTube. How you doing? Evening, gents. Where's the other 50% of Team Sprues and Brews? Well, unfortunately, we're holding the fort today. We're a couple of men down, but we'll have just as much fun. And on the plus side, you've got a bigger area of the screen that you can see what me and Jay are working on.
You can
So
zoom in and see all the mistakes
exactly,
we're making on the paintwork.
So yeah, so what are you working on, Matt? Anything exciting? And again, anyone else who's watching, let us know what you're working on, what you're painting, what hobby you're doing, and crucially, what weapons do you think I should arm these jet bikes with? We'll see how long these take. I'm hoping that we get to do a little bit of work on the Arbites out of the Soul Shackle box too. That is the plan for tonight. We'll see how far we get. There'll be a lot of chatting involved, I suspect, and I normally get distracted on this stream anyway.
Yeah.
And Jay, you're a fair way through Lord Croak now, aren't you, Jay?
Oh, I don't know about that actually. So I've done his sort of stone throne thing itself. So that's all painted and shaded and highlighted. And then I've got the base color down on the sort of roots and vines and things that are hanging off of it. I use I never forget the colors. It's going to take me a while to get used to these two thin coats colors. So it's the Dryad Bark equivalent, which is
the equivalent brown from.
It's on here somewhere. At some point, these will become like second nature to me, but I still can't say. I'm staring at things. Anyway, yeah. So the Dryad Bark equivalent of the teething coats, and then I'm working on the jade using, like I say, the dark Eldar type colours because there's no. Certainly in wave 1, I seem there were a lot more colours in the wave 2 toothing coats.
Yeah, I believe I want to say there is equivalent to those colours in the second wave. You've got some nice turquoises as well that I'm sure you're hoping are out before you get to your Seraphon.
Oh, I can't wait for those. I did pick up the Huanches, the chameleon skinks, and oh, they're so nice.
They're really good models, aren't they? You've outside of the first edition you've played, but you've not played the second edition of Warcry.
No, I haven't. No.
And obviously that box comes with all the stat cards and everything, so you're like good to go with a little force, then, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was contemplating building them on today's stream,
Nice.
but I decided in the end I'd do a bit more paintwork on Lord Croak. Because I've done a lot of building this week, so just to balance it out with a bit of painting.
Yeah. What have you been building this week then? Or your other Seraphon bits?
Oh, no, so I'm still building those. So I've got the Bastiladon. So I built the Pterodon Riders, I've built my Skink, I've built Lord Croak, I've got the Bastiladon to build next, and there's a Skink Star Priest, I believe, in the set as well, which I've not built yet. Then I've got the Warcry Warband, which is I'm actually going to build next, and I think I'm going to build those and paint them before I paint any more of the Lizardmen that I've got, so I can start using them in Warcry. And then I had a nice delivery this weekend from yourself, Matt, with some more Lizardmen reinforcements. So this was the Stegodon Ancient. I've not decided whether I'm going to build them as an Ancient or as just a regular Stegodon, and then. Is it a Start Collecting Lizardman or Combat Patrol Lizardman or something like that?
Start Collecting Lizardman, yeah.
Yeah, with the Carnosaur Seraphon, yeah, with the Carnosaur in. Yeah, which is a really
may disappear, mightn't it, when the new book comes out?
Yeah,
it's the Vanguard box, maybe.
Yeah, and which it's a really good value box, isn't it? So really with the Carnosaur in there, yeah.
Well, you were about getting a Carnosaur, and you're better off buying that, even if you just binned everything else in the box. You can get the Carnosaur cheaper. Now, obviously, those Saurus Warriors are probably a little bit dated compared to the new ones.
Yeah.
But you can always practice some schemes and stuff on them, can't you?
That's it. Yeah, I think you find a use for them. They're not too bad. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to get used when the new ones come out. To be fair.
Yeah. We've got a bit of activity on YouTube. So Steve Harbour says, "Evening all, building some Perry War of the Roses miniatures. Nice." Jem Jackson, evening chaps. Oh, sorry, go on, Jay.
War of the Roses. What was? The Perry twins miniatures. Okay, yeah, cool, yeah, nice.
Really nice. Jem Jackson says, "Evening chaps, just finishing my Fire Slayers tonight. Bought them in 5th in a local tournament with them last week. So think they deserve a bit of love. Nice, that's cool. 5th is good going at a tournament." And Grace said, "Just finishing off the basing and varnishing for a Warp Lightning Cannon. Need to go for a run while a few bits dry. Awesome. That sounds like a pretty good hobby night to me."
Yeah. Shame Dave's not aligned.
It is, yeah. Dave does like his Skaven. He's been working on some Dark Angels, I believe. So again, we were lucky enough to get the I forget what it's called. Strike Force Agastus, I believe it's
Augustus,
called.
that's it. Yeah.
So he's been working on the concepts from that. You've got the Leviathan, not the Leviathan Dreadnought, the Brutalis Dreadnought.
Yeah, I put that together. I've not had a chance to put some paint on it yet. I'm going to paint it up as a Son of Sanguinius. It was a nice model to build. I didn't realize how different it was from the regular Redemptor Dreadnought. It's got a different sort of armor style on the legs. It's got these like hip plates, and the obviously the shoulder guards as well are slightly different as well to accommodate the fist, and it's a different sort of power fist than what's on the Redemptor. It's got like a they look like batteries or something over the side of the fist itself. Yeah, there's some power generator, I assume. And of course, you've got the Iron Hail stubber on the top in place of the Icarus rocket pod, which I think the regular Redemptor has. So yeah, it's a really nice model. I really enjoyed building that.
So originally, I thought it was going to be like the base Dreadnought with an upgrade frame, but like the Sprues are entirely new, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You get a choice. I think I built mine with the multi-melter sort of weapons in the torso. You can build it with heavy bolters, and of course, compared to the Redemptor, which has a smaller, it's got the storm bolters or the rocket pods in its torso.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice, and the good thing about these kits as well is they've got like pegs on the joints, so it's dead easy to pose and put together.
Well,
but
cool.
if you wanted to customize it a little bit, you can snip the pegs down, and that gives you the full freedom then to rotate it and adjust the arm joints and things like this. So
yeah, I noticed that in the review. It's quite handy that they've done it on a few kits, haven't they? Where
the
peg will lock it into a certain pose. You've still got like on the torso, you've still got some maneuverability.
You
but
have,
if you want to do a really dynamic pose, you can just snip that off and go crazy, can't you?
Yeah.
Which is cool. Anonymous Rex over on Twitch says, evening. Jim Jackson says, might be worth saving those old Saurus warriors for the old world.
Well, we've been talking about this, haven't we? I'm going to muck about with some movement trays and see whether I can get some like fit the circle bases of the Age of Sigmar into some movement trays and things like this. Because I mean, the rank we'll have to see, but the new Saurus kits are just so nice from what we've seen.
It wouldn't surprise me if they make them, system compatible, let's say.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people be doing it, and if you can take that kit and I don't know, give it, even if you use like spaces on the trays, because a lot of people used to do that in Fantasy anyway, didn't they? You'd use a kind of a what do they used to call them? Unit fillers, and have
you'd have like
is the kind of like the
front, the width of the base
and everything,
exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So as long as I can get that, and if a unit of 20 Saurus warriors and I can only fit 16 of them on the square bit on my movement tray, I can use a dice to represent what the frontage would be.
Yeah, exactly.
And fill the gaps in
as well. An event, obviously, you'd have to check with your kind of tournament organizer. But honestly, I think playing Old World, it's probably going to be a bit more kind of friendly narrative anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it did have the potential of getting a bit silly, didn't it? Fantasy.
Oh yeah.
Broken combos and the likes. And let's face it, you're probably going to pick up something Magic Together by Forge World as well, aren't you? For your, say, if you wanted to use an army at events and stuff. So yeah. Matt H says, hobby resolutions going well? I believe so. So one of the hobby resolutions I had was to do some more kind of non-review based stuff over on the website. And last week or two, put up the kind of Stormbringer magazine breakdown, which has been a really, really popular article where I kind of go down the price value of everything in the magazine, the points value of everything that you get, to basically work out how much it's going to cost you, how much you save, and what legal armies you can create out of the magazine. And that's been pretty popular. And I don't think I've told you this, Jay. Off the back of that, Hachette are going to send us the entire collection as well. So
Oh,
massive
wow.
thanks to them. So what we'll be doing, issues 1 and 2 have just come, so I need to film them tomorrow. But as the magazines come out, we'll be doing videos and then similar price breakdown. So again, yeah, massive thanks to Hachette for sending us them on the back of the article, which is always nice.
Very cool.
We always like to try and make the kind of articles that we'd want to read ourselves. So, no clickbait and walls of adverts and all that kind of stuff that makes your kind of viewing experience a little bit not as good. So yeah, let us know if you have read the article as well in the chat. Let us know what you think and if you'd like more stuff like that, because I did enjoy putting it together. It was good fun. So yeah, it does mean then, Jay, I will have a Gloomspite Gits army by the end of that run of my game as well.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you get a lot of squigs and stuff, do you, in this
So over the run of the magazine, you actually get a 2,000 point Gloomspite Gits army.
Oh wow.
Which is pretty
good
going.
Go for it then, that's all right, isn't it? I mean, that might be one to look at for Old World as well, Matt.
It will be, yeah. I think there'll be a lot of stuff in that magazine that you might be able to use. Yeah, I mean, a classic Orcs and Goblins kind of army would be so much fun, because I like the animosity rules and stuff.
Oh, the animosity rules so cool. I really like the hide in the night Goblin fanatics in your units. So I think you can do that in Age of Sigmar, and the Doomdiver catapults.
Yeah, I see. I'm not going to be able to kind of hold fire. I'm going to have to build them up for AOS, but
yeah,
it's not out of the question me starting an Orc army off the back of that too.
Well, like I say, I mean, you could easily do some nice square bases with unit fillers like mushrooms and and things like that, and get them on a square base as well.
Yeah, I reckon, because a lot of those are on like 25mm bases anyway, aren't they? The old
yes, they are. Yeah.
So they'll have the same frontage, like you say. If you get a tray and you either have some inserts, or even if you just have the movement tray and put the bases in, it's going to be the same frontage. I think, like you say, it looks nicer with some like custom blocks that you can put the models in, because you could have the space of 4 models and 2 or 3 in there. It doesn't matter. It just looks thematic. A lot of the armies at the time in Fantasy did that because it looks good. Then some models didn't rank up particularly well. So you'd have 3 in the space of 4 with some like fallen masonry or something that they're walking over.
Yeah.
And that always worked quite well, didn't it? Anonymous Rex also says that article was a good read. Painting up some JSA infantry models, Jay.
Japanese sectorial, yeah. I've got a box of them actually. I picked up a box cheap last year. Built them up, but I've not got them painted yet. And I even bought some additional sort of auxiliary units for them as well. It's such a nice range, the JSA kits are.
I was a fan of them. I like all the... I'm a fan of Cyberpunk, aren't I? So there's Cyberpunk in spades with that range, with cool bikes and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, well, we should do a painted stream, maybe paint some Infinity models then.
Well, see, I did paint a bunch of Infinity models. Was it last year or the year before? But I never finished my warband. But I do need to get back on them. Although this next few months are a bit busy. But yeah, I do want to paint some of those up.
It's all busy, Jay.
I know. It never. You just think, oh, I'll just get past this next few weeks, and then you're busy with something else, then, aren't you? So.
Yeah, that is true. But Jay, I see on your desk a game. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Eldfall Chronicles?
Yeah. So this was a game that came to Kickstarter so one of my many 53 Kickstarters. This was one of them. I think it was spring or summer 2021, by a new company. And it's right up our street really, because it's a miniatures based sort of skirmish game, similar to Infinity, very similar to Infinity, but with a fantasy sort of setting rather than the sci-fi setting that you see in Infinity. And just like Infinity, actually, where you've got in Infinity, you've got the actions and arrows, the reactions as well. So you sort of and we like this in Horus Heresy with the reaction mechanic, where you get to do something in your opponent's turn. Eldfall lets you do that as well. That's one of the cool things about this game, that because I've had a few games of it now and played that. The other thing I like about this one as well, and this would have been brilliant if it came during lockdown, because it's got like an AI system built into it. So you can play player versus player like you traditionally would in a game of Infinity, for example. But there's all these sort of AI controlled creatures as well in the game, and you can just play against them. So there's like an AI mechanic, so you can play it on your own. And I mean, we've said this loads of times, haven't we? I mean, I'm pretty sure one of my top 3 on the podcast was for Games Workshop to release a game that you could play on your own. I think they did some
Yeah.
White Dwarf rules once, didn't they, with a giant or something?
They did. They've done quite a few things like that, which is pretty cool. I like that. During one of my games over lockdown was what's I forget what it's called now? Call to Arms, the Elder Scrolls miniatures game,
Yes.
and that has a similar kind of like solo play rule set, which is really cool. I really need to get on that again because it was good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think you'll like this then as well, because you've got that sort of dungeon delving kind of thing in here. There's these consecutive quests. I played one today actually, where you're sort of approaching a ruin with some arcane ruins. Something's gone wrong with the an arcane sort of piece of machinery or something inside, and you're going in with your warband to investigate over a series of quests. And then you can like team up with your friend to go in, or fragile alliances. It's pretty cool. So I backed this with the Warlord pledge, which gave me a lot of extra content. But in the core box itself, which you can, I think these are up for pre-order now on the they've got their own online store. You get quite a lot just in the core box, really. So you get all 4 of the main factions. You get 4 models each for those. So there's like a Japanese sort of inspired Empire of Soga. There's a sort of, to me, they look a bit like Dark Elves. The Coalition Athenian, with some like succubi demons in there, and rogues and assassins and things. There are the Sand Kingdoms, which are sort of like a magical type faction, focused more on spellcasters and summoning and that kind of thing. And then there's like almost like the High Elves equivalent. Well, not they're a bit different than High Elves, but they're a well-rounded faction. They've got some good soldiers and some good casters and good support pieces and things like this. So you get all 4 factions in the box, so you can play around with them. You get like profile cards. I'll show you a few in a minute for each of the models as well. You also get this big Colossus. So this is like one of these AI creatures that roam around the battlefield, an Earth elemental or Earth aspected unit, and it is big. I'll show you the model shortly.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 times bigger than the rest of the models in the set. And you get the rule book. But what's really cool about this as well is you get you can see all the tokens and things at the top here, and unit cards and templates and things. But you get a load of scenery as well to start playing. So it's a bit like the Warcry boxes or Kill Team boxes for 40k Age of Sigmar. So you get everything you need in this box to play with. And I'll just put this down for a sec because I didn't realise I built all the cardboard scenery today. And it's actually, I was really impressed by it. So you can see some of it here.
Cardboard scenery, some of it is actually pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is it's quite thick, sturdy card. A lot thicker than the cards you get in Infinity. So Infinity does something similar where you can get like 2 armies, a bunch of scenery, a playmat, some dice and stuff. But I always find the scenery in Infinity is a bit thinner. But this is sturdy stuff. I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera there.
Yeah, I see it.
Almost like Egyptian sort of desert ruins.
What kind of scale is it? Would you be able to use like maybe terrain for like you've either 3D printed or got elsewhere, maybe to represent the the thing that we've got here, like ruins and trees and stuff.
Yeah, so if I show you a model here, so this is if it's on the camera properly there, I hope so. This is a size, so I don't know if it's 32mm or just a little bit bigger. This model is probably about the same size as an Adeptus Custodes, so that's the sort of size of the model.
So yeah, that's quite big scale then.
Yeah, and but the proportions are more realistic, so it's almost like a scaled up version of a Lord of the Rings model.
Okay, I get you. Okay.
So it's more realistically proportioned, the heads, hands, and the heads, and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really impressed with the scenery, and you get. I mean, this is probably half of the scenery you get. You get another loads of trees, some more ruins. Really impressed.
That's cool.
I've got a 3x3 mat, so I think the sort of general size you play a game on is 3x3, so it doesn't take up too much table space.
Yeah.
And you certainly get enough scenery in the box to sort of populate that table. Inside then the box, you get the 4 factions. So they come in little cardboard boxes like this.
So they all come inside that box then?
All come inside this box, yeah. So I think currently there are 4 factions. Whether they'll add more, I think they can. I mean, they've already, if you go onto their website, they've got a really sort of fleshed out background and setting for the game. So, and there's lots of other things like Oni, demons and things like this that I mentioned. So it wouldn't surprise me. Well, yeah. I mean, I'll better keep that in mind because there's another expansion, and so I can see them definitely expanding it in the future. And even if you look here, these are the models we sort of get. So there's 4 models for each faction in the core set, but I know on their website they've got another pack up for pre-order, the Wayfarers pack, which adds 2 extra models for each faction.
Yeah.
So you've got 6 to choose from, and they've all got different points costs. And you build a warband, and I think really you're looking at between 3 and 5 models maybe for a decent game. So you don't need many.
So what's the monetary equivalent then of having enough to do a kind of a decent sized battle?
Let's have a look. I'm not sure. Let's have a look how much the set costs on their website, because I can't even remember.
A lot of companies now are kind of leaning into the kind of low model count skirmish kind of games, aren't they? Even Games Workshop, we see it with Warcry and Kill Team, and I think there's definitely a market for that, isn't there?
Yeah, like these games in a box where you get everything in the box. Yeah. So the core set there, which is bring it back here. Bear with me while I get the box back. It's €150.
Okay, and that have the rules
and that has 4 faction boxes, so 16 of your models, so 4 different armies. It has the Colossus model. It's got the cardboard scenery set, which is 4 buildings, 5 vegetation scenery pieces, and a 3x3 paper map. You get all your templates and measurement. So these are card as well. You get a printed rule book, about 100 pages.
Okay.
You get 8 D20, because the game uses D20. Very similar to Infinity, where you're sort of making confrontation rolls and that kind of thing.
Yep.
100 odd tokens. You get proxies for the different creatures. So the Colossus is just one creature. You can see down here there's an Earth and creatures set as well, where you get, and I've got the models for these, the golems and Earth elementals and things, but you get proxy tokens to use in place of them. You get 17 profile cards. So these are, I've got one up to hand here. I'll show you these properly in a minute, but basically these have all, like Age of Sigmar War Scroll cards, so they have all the stats and special rules of that particular model, so you don't have to keep flicking backwards and forwards to the rulebook. So you get those. You get the hostile behavior cards, which are like your AI mechanics. So each of the creature has a thing you want, like a flow chart that you go down to determine what the creature gets up to in his turn. And then you get 12 quest-specific scheme and upgrade cards. So these scheme and upgrade cards, schemes, think of them as like agendas in 40k Crusade, like personal objectives or secondary objectives for your warbands, and you can choose them, and it's just a way of scoring extra victory points in a game.
Yeah.
And then the upgrade cards is really cool. So I think there's like a load of like neutral, like first aid packs, pouches, these kind of things. But there's also some faction specific upgrades that you can give. So when you're building your warband, you can customize them a little bit, give them different items and things like this, or upgrades. So yeah, so all that for €150. I'll put that down. And these are the boxes that the models come in, and then you get assortment cards and things like that. But let's have a look at the models first. Actually, I've got any further.
So how do the models come then? Are they on sprues? You have to build them, or are they kind of pre-built? A few parts, you put them together.
There's a mix. No, they're resin.
Resin, okay.
Yeah, they're resin miniatures, and there's a mixture of them. So this one here is the Bushy Attendant. So this is one of the models for the Empire of Soga faction, which is a Japanese faction. And this model just came as a single piece that I just glued to the base. I scrubbed them in soapy water. I don't know if that was necessary or not, but it's just force of habit really from building Forge World. The resin is it works just like Forge World actually. So some of the parts were a bit warped. Put them under the hot water tap, straighten them out, no problem.
Yeah.
But the detail's really, really nice. Even for like a single piece model, you can see like he's wearing some sort of it's almost like chainmail underneath, and you can see the sort of chain there.
Okay.
There's all like banding on this thing around his waist. Then you've got the sort of Japanese samurai style armor. That's really cool. And then in comparison, there is other models. So, for example, let's have the thing. So this one here, which is a Task Mage Explorer for the Sand Kingdoms. Here she is. So this model She's like a spellcaster for one of the factions. She came in about 6 or 7 pieces. So the arms were separate, the head was separate to the torso, and then this scroll as well. But again, just as detailed and really nice poses. Awesome. So I think you could probably, if you're an experienced hobbyist, I think you could maybe tweak it a little bit, convert it a little bit if you wanted to look a little bit different. But because the warbands are so small, they're only 3 to 5 models or so. You don't really suffer from the fact that you've got models that look the same. You don't tend to have duplicate models in your warband, I don't think.
Well, that's good. That's good. Awesome.
I think you'll really like the so these were the Empire Soga models. So these are the 4 we got in the set. And you have a champion or a war leader. Here he is, the clan champion for the Empire Soga. So this is like your leader for your warband, and they get access to extra abilities that they can use. A bit like command traits, I guess. And only these guys can use it. But we've got the clan champion here with a big spear, and a katana in the back there. And then there's the Onitaushi. My pronunciation is really bad. It's like a demon hunter thing with a really big sword. But I really like this one, the Kitsune. I think you'll like that.
Oh yeah. You say Kitsune, and I can't see it. I guess we've got some fox features on there.
Oh yeah, there's a massive, big 2 bushy tails. She's got a spirit drum behind her. She's got these like look like cards in her hand. Really, really nice. She's a cool spellcaster. My brother actually used this model today. We had a small game earlier on, and she had a really cool magical attack. She could use this flare thing that finished off one of my wounded characters.
That's cool.
So she's pretty good. She could.
That's what you're going, Jay.
I was going to say she also had I think she got an ability as well where she can. So basically, each of her models has a number of activations, and they can spend those activation points in any order. Similar to a bit like Infinity, I guess. But she has an ability where she can give models additional activation points so they can keep activating, which was really cool.
Yeah, well, that's cool. We've got Lost Skink in the chat saying good evening, gents. So how are you doing, Lost Skink? We're having a bit of a hobby day. I'm building up some jet bikes. Jay is working on Lord Croak, but at the minute just having a quick nosy at the contents of a new Kickstarter that's arrived. So yeah, we'll have to get some games on the stream soon, Jay, and have a bit of a check out of it.
My plan is to get some of these built and have some games. I mean, you can play this game 4-player, and I've got 4 factions, so we can each control a faction.
Nice.
You can play it like a purely PvP, and I think the games last about an hour, just an hour and a half, once you get used to it. And it's a pretty brutal, lethal game. Your models aren't going to last very long. Yeah. But one of they've got a Discord channel. It's really active. The developers are always in there talking. And they were saying how they wanted the game to be really quick. So the idea is that you build a warband, you give it some upgrades, you play the quest, you fail, then you have a little think about, you tweak a few things, you go again, you get a couple of games in a session then, so you can sort of tweak your strategies and things like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can see here, so these are some of the AI creatures that come in the box. So again, these are all multi-part. It starts with the sort of tier 1 earth creatures, which are these gargoyles. And you get, you can see I've got the one there, different sculpts for them as well.
Oh yeah, cool. So these big, then.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, if we look here, this is a Task Mage Explorer. I just put her down next to the other creatures, and you can sort of see the scale of them.
Yeah, well, that's cool. And I'm looking forward to checking this out, Jay. Looks interesting.
It's a really fun game. The Sand Kingdoms in particular, they can summon a lot of things, so they can summon some of these creatures. These golems. Which I think are really, really cool. They're really awesome Earth Elemental, which just looks like an old style tree lord from Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh, nice.
With it's basically held together with all these rocks and twigs and foliage and stuff. Really, really cool. And actually, you can summon these as well as allies. So some of the units or some of the factions have got the ability to summon these creatures to fight with them.
Yeah.
And this is the really big one, the Colossus here, which is very much like a sphinx, but some nice detail. If you see, like they've sculpted in like all this like a stone or marble type construct, and all these stresses and cracks and things.
That's cool. So take it you'll be painting these guys up then, Jay.
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to painting these up. So I want to get them built so we can finish the like a model showcase for the site and then
Hmm.
start painting them. The thing is, I don't know what to paint first. I mean, originally I was all about the Sand Kingdoms, but then having put them together, this is one of the Hellion League, the sort of high elfy like faction,
Okay.
and I've sort of fallen in love with these models as well now. So I'm not sure which ones I'm going to
Well, see,
paint
of
first.
the ones that you've shown me, the Japanese theme ones definitely seem my
Yeah, I think they
sort
are
of
quite popular. Um,
yeah.
there were a couple of
Awesome.
Kickstarter exclusives as well. So we got this Gladiatrix, who reminds me of the bunny in Final Fantasy 12, is it, or 30? I
Right.
can't remember. So she's a mercenary. So some of the units are mercenary units, so you can include them in other war bands,
Mm,
and she's one of them as well. She was a Kickstarter exclusive, actually. I'm not sure if you can pick her up anymore,
okay.
but she's actually a really nice model. And then we also got some of these, which I completely forgot these were coming. So these are just some scatter scenery, some
Oh
resin
yeah.
scatter scenery.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Lost
So
King says, superb, giving my child his bath, but listening to you guys counts as hobby, right? It absolutely does.
definitely does. Definitely
Yeah.
does.
It's
Um, and then where are these? Oh yeah, so I'll just show you these as well because these are pretty cool. So these are all the unit cards that you get
hmm,
as well. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see these actually on the camera. So this is the Onitashi. So this is and I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. So this is the sort of demon slaying character. And my brother Connor used her to great effect because you've got this big great sword with
yeah.
the sweep rule, which allows her to basically like hit a number of models that she's in range of.
Hmm.
So she's fighting this gladiatrix here, and these are making a confrontation roll. But then she's actually, because her weapon's got this reach of 2 inches, she's able to make an attack against this unsuspecting task mage explorer as
Okay,
well.
so we've got similar to AOS where your melee weapons will have a range as well then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's cool.
Um, and then you've got the stats down the side here. So, and like I say, it's a D20 system. So, offensive 16 stat, that's your sort of melee stat that you'll be rolling,
Hmm.
trying to equal or roll under 2 when you're making an attack. And of course, there are different ways to modify that as well. So, this particular character here has got access to something called Combat Arts Fencing 3. If we flip over, it gives the opportunity to use a few different modifiers or different abilities on her attacks. Likewise, there may be some defensive models that have negative modifiers that they apply to models that are attacking.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. And here you go. There's a Kitsune spell made in there with a
Awesome.
spirit drum. So yeah, so these cards are cool, and like I say, on the back they've got all the different rules as well, so you don't have to keep flicking through the rule
Hmm.
book. But yeah, it was really, really good fun. We had a game today, and here we are. Here are the AI cards. So for the golem here, and there's 2 phases basically. You get like an active phase and a reactive phase. So in the active phase, you're activating your models and moving around. The opponent then is in a reactive phase and they're able to spend activation push to react to what you're doing. So if you run across a like an opening, for example, you may be able to react and fire a bow shot into them as they go past, or cast a spell or something like that.
Yeah.
This AI card just tells you how they react and how their behavior they follow.
Okay. That sounds cool. Well, we'll definitely have to check it out on the show, Jay.
Yeah, yeah.
Get some games going, paint up some models, and yeah, that sounds good fun.
We had a game today where it was myself and my brother, and we played this first quest. So we had to get through these constructs that were blocking the way to the entrance to the dungeon.
Hmm.
And so we said, okay, well we'll work together. We'll take down the left hand side first and try and get each other into the dungeon. And then I think it was like maybe halfway through my brother's first turn, that all changed, and we just ended up fighting each other in the middle. And the AI constructs were sort of coming down and like attacking us at the same time as we were trying to battle each other.
Amazing. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I like the sound of that. So yeah, well, so you're going to do a bit of a review over on the site. We've got an unboxing filmed. Wait for the nice twirly whirly model shots as well, and get that in part of the unboxing, and then that should be up. I guess over the next week. It won't take you long to get to the point where we can film that, will it, Jay?
No, that's it. The models are all here now. We did a good preview of it during the Kickstarter campaign, and
Mm.
I don't think there's been too many changes. So what I'll do is I'll do an updated review,
Okay, cool.
because I think the core of the game is still the same. I think there's just been a few tweaks to different rules and the language and
Yeah,
wording in some of the rules and things, but generally it's the same game.
Awesome.
So I think the preview is actually a pretty accurate reflection of the game itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get a updated review up this week, and like you say, get that video up this week, and then we can start having some games. I think because I
Sounds
think
good.
yeah, we want to try like Warcry and Kill Team and Infinity, and I think this is my
Of that ilk,
feeling is
isn't it?
yeah, I think so. I think if you're into those sort of games, I think you're going to enjoy this game, and I think actually this game it does bring its own sort of unique things as well with that AI element and the sort of semi-cooperative nature of it as well.
Yeah.
And then it borrows obviously from Infinity, so I think you get a much more sort of involved game, both people playing at the same time, rather than I go, you go.
Awesome. Just for clarity as well, that's not sponsored content or anything. This is just something that Jay backed himself and is excited to play some games of. So that's cool. I think it is a bit of a year of skirmish and low model count games, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, like Warcry and the new edition of Kill Team, especially, is really cool, isn't it?
What we need to do, because you've got your Juanichi's Hunters for
Yes.
Warcry, and have you found a kill team that you want to use for kind of the Gallo Dark missions?
Not yet, but I'm assuming at some point we will get some Leagues of Votan, and I will use them.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm very surprised we haven't got any Leagues of Votan yet for kill team, because I think they'd be super popular. And that what are they called? Hearthkin Warriors? Is that the basic infantry?
The Halfkin, yes.
That sprue looks like it's made for kill team.
Oh, you've got loads because you've got the Medipack on there. You've got the comms unit, the scanner.
Yeah.
You've got loads of different weapon options. So yeah,
I'm very surprised that they haven't done one. It could be a compendium or White Dwarf one maybe, but I mean, what are the guys on the bikes called? We've debated it could be them, but on foot as a kill team.
The Hernkin Pioneers.
Hernkin Pioneers. Yeah. Let us know if you're watching what kill teams or Warcry warbands you'd like to see, and if you are enjoying kind of the renaissance of skirmish games at the minute, because not just Games Workshop, everybody seems to be putting out stuff for those kind of low model count, skirmish, quick paced games. Because I guess, the days are gone where we could just play massive 2,000 point games of Warhammer every night. I'd love to, but there's just not enough hours in the day, is there?
No.
Where that kind of thing, where you can have a quick game of like an hour and just roll some dice. I think that's why Boarding Patrol's been popular for 40k.
Yeah, the
Because it
500
strips it
points.
right back, takes out a lot of the stratagems and stuff. Like you say, 500 points, like predefined maps as well that you can move around, which is I personally liked. Do you remember AOS? There was a General's Handbook a couple of years ago where they had cards that generated your battlefields.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And you know what? I thought that was pretty good. I kind of like that, having the terrain defined by the rules, because it makes the game innately more balanced, doesn't it?
Yes, I know what you mean.
So like the Gallo Dark missions, you've got the fixed confines of the ship that you can move around, and Warcry, obviously you've got the cards that you draw, and it's all the scenery is created from a pool. Now in both those games, there's nothing to stop you creating your own kind of environment, but I think it just adds to the kind of the quick nature of the game. You don't have to sit there working out, what scenery you've got and how to make it balanced. Anonymous Rex says, since I painted up the signs of the flame last week, I'd love to see current warbands get additional kits like Necromunda. That's a really good idea,
I mean, Necromunda does get a lot, doesn't it? So they haven't really got a fantasy equivalent, have they? But Kill Team would be perfect for that.
Well, the fantasy equivalent is Mordheim.
Kill Team, Warcry. Mordheim, yeah, but
which I suspect will come back at some point.
Maybe with the old world, yeah, maybe that's
So I'm partway through building this jet bike, and I've got to the weapon bit. So don't know if you can see. There is a hole in the front of the jet bike, Jay, and each of the weapon options has got a little peg. Now, unfortunately, the joint's not got enough resistance to hold it in place against gravity. But a little blob of blue tack and I think you could have very easily interchangeable weapons. Now you could pin them maybe, or put magnets, but honestly, bit of blue tack that's going to hold. So
Excellent.
you can use all 4 weapon options then on your jet bikes. So yeah, I like that. I'll have to have a little baggie with all these different weapons in so they don't get lost. But the plan is to do my first Horus Heresy Loyalist army, which I know you'll.
Well done. Welcome to the right
Yeah,
side.
this is it. Anyone who's watched the site or read your reviews, I'm normally the chaos guy, aren't I? I've got Angron on my desk. Word bearers are normally my go-tos for Horus Heresy. But something really appeals to me about a mass of like jet bikes and assault bikes and land speeders. I just think it looks really cool on the table, and we've seen some really nice ones at events at Warhammer World, haven't
We
we?
have. Yeah, we have. That's true.
So I'm thinking I don't know how many. I haven't got the book. I should have brought it up with me, but I reckon I can probably build a White Scars army with quite a few units of 10 jet bikes as my line choices, because they become line in the White Scars jet bike army. Yeah, they're a little bit fragile compared to how they used to be. They've only got 2 wounds each and toughness 4, I believe, off the top of my head. So they're dropping relatively quickly, aren't they? But the advantage you've got is a very, very fast line unit.
Yes.
So and again, 10 of them armed with multi-motors or something. You're gonna think twice about shooting them because of the return fire stratagem too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to see how they go. I want to build them up. I want to get some of the golden Kasheg, the kind of spear-mounted ones. Now I do wonder if some point we get an upgrade kit for these, allowing you to use them. I don't think so, because I think a lot of the elite Legion-specific stuff is probably going to stay resin for the relatively long term. Would you agree?
I did wonder. Yeah, I did wonder when you were mentioning that the riders. I thought, oh, I wonder. But yeah, I think you're right.
I think they've future-proofed it so that in the future they could discontinue the resin jet bike and just sell the different crew for them, maybe. But and in a perfect world, eventually we might get plastics for all the legions. But the main priority is kind of making all that current stuff plastic, isn't it? And a unit that only one legion can use is probably low on the agenda. Because if you think for sales as well, is it worth tooling that sprue for something that only White Scars players will use, where all these other kits every legion's going to use?
Yeah.
So
Talking of White Scars, have you read Warhawk yet?
I've started it. I need to blitz the rest of the book. My Echoes of Eternity, The End and the Death, is on the way, and I've got a lot of catching up to do. I've got like 3 books to get through before I start reading that. Have you started listening to the audiobook yet, Jay?
I will be listening to it tomorrow on the way to work.
Excellent. So yeah, this time next week you'll be very excitedly telling us about that book, won't you?
Yeah, it's a long book as well. It's 18 hours.
18 hours
compared to
okay.
Normally about 12 hours for a Black Library audio book.
And that's part 1 of 2 series as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The epic ending. Yeah, that should be fun. And then next Saturday, I'm off to the open day at Warhammer World, which is cool. Now, this is on the Saturday and the Sunday, and there's early and late tickets. And last week they announced that it was originally, I think, £12.50 to get in, where now it's going to be completely free. And that includes your entry to the exhibition as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's very good, considering that's like £7 anyway, normally, the exhibition.
Yeah.
So yeah, me and my girlfriend are going to go with a Saturday afternoon. So if anyone is watching who is going, say hi if you've seen me. It should be good fun. You weren't free for this one, were you, Jay?
No, I am free, but I wasn't planning on going. But with it being free, I might take the boys with me.
Yeah, so you do have to get a ticket. So you go on Eventbrite, the tickets are free. But
Yeah,
that's a nice event to take the boys to, because they've got, I think one of the focuses this year is that you go in on the atrium and get a little card, collector's card kind of thing, and then
yeah,
they will kind of stamp when you've done different activities, so like painted a model or played a game. They've got demo games for every Games Workshop system. So if you ever, maybe you always wanted to give, I don't know, well, Kill Team, for example, we're talking about skirmish games. You always wanted to have try out a game of Kill Team. You can go along to that, and they'll have a demo game of that set up. So I think that's pretty fun.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of games that people maybe want to try but have never committed to.
Aeronautica,
Aeronautica, yeah, that'd be fun. So
Titanicus, Adeptus Titanicus. Do you reckon that'll be there?
So they've said every system. So there's
Okay.
so I assume that includes stuff like Titanicus and Aeronautica, because they are still currently supported. So yeah, I think it could be good fun. There's also a painting competition as well, which is a bit of a different twist to it. So you take a single hero miniature for any game, and then basically they'll have a list of criteria on how you've painted. This is open to anyone. It's like it could be your first miniature you've painted. You could be a Golden Demon winner. It doesn't matter. This is just a bit of fun. But your miniature could then get a bronze, silver, or gold pin badge based on how it's done on the criteria, which is a really nice thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take down. I need to finish him this week. But my old school Hive Tyrant.
Oh yeah, cool.
So he's going to go down and be my entry for this little painting competition. And Stacey's hoping to have the Arch Revenant painted up to take down as well.
Oh, I love that model.
Yeah, it's such a nice model. So she's been learning how to do glazing and wet blending, and I think we've got a serious contender for someone not only battering us at Warhammer, but being a better painter than us too, Jay.
Excellent.
So yeah, so she's looking forward to that. So yeah, it should be fun. If anyone is going, who is in the chat, let us know, because it'd be nice to have a little meet up if anybody is there. I know Dave was quite keen on it, but I think he's on holiday, and Andy I think was working. But there are 4 time slots. I think the Saturday morning is now sold out. I'm going Saturday afternoon, which I think is 2 p.m. till 7 p.m., which is quite. I actually prefer that than the 10 a.m. start, because you have a wander around, you can get some food. Obviously, you get your exhibition entry in there as well. So a nice, and for free, it's it's definitely a good one, isn't it? I mean, we say free. It's never free, is it? You will end up with something from the shop.
Dangerous.
That is the rules. But no, I think that's a really good thing, and I'm really glad that they've made it free, because becomes a bit more of a kind of celebration of the hobby then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's gives you people a lot more opportunity to get down into Warhammer World as well and see what that's about.
Yeah, which is
Without
an
to
awesome
invest in a
place.
ticket.
If you are within range, go on Eventbrite, pick up a ticket for it, and head on down, because it is so cool. We lived within an hour and a half of it, and for years and years and years had never been. We'd never been to Warhammer World, and it's safe to say, since that first time, we go kind of whenever we get an excuse to. Because there's something different about playing a game at home and playing it on those big feature boards at Warhammer World 2. Or if you're thinking of starting a new army, being able to have a look at all the heavy metal miniatures in the events, in the exhibition hall, and see those models in the flesh, gives you a bit of inspiration, doesn't it?
It is. That's what I like about seeing the because the you see them on the online web store, but they really don't do the paint jobs justice on there once you've seen them in the plastic, so to speak.
Yeah. They also have some rotating kind of exhibitions in there as well. So at the minute, it's 40 years of Warhammer.
Yes.
Which is cool. So all the old school Warhammer Fantasy models. Before that, they had all of the Golden Demon entries in there as well, the winners for that. So yeah, it's definitely worth having a look at. Anyone watching as well, have you been to Warhammer World? Do you like to go there? Is it somewhere you've always wanted to go? Maybe. Let us know what you think of Warhammer World. I see the next round of events have gone up. Well, they've been announced on Warhammer Community, Jay.
Oh.
So we've got a 4-player team event for Age of Sigmar. So we had one of these last year that unfortunately I couldn't make because I had COVID.
Yeah, we that was fun actually. That was good. I can't. It was myself, Andy, Dave, and Jason. Was it? Yeah,
It
Jason.
was, yeah. Jason was standing in for me. But yeah, that's up again. So if you're up for being part of a team, Jay, that's a potential.
Oh, what do you reckon? Do you reckon the
something
lizards will
event.
be out by then? Don't think they will they?
Maybe, but I don't know. They've said summer, but summer's a suitably kind of vague window, isn't it?
Some of them might be out.
Some of them might be out.
I
And
might be
you
able
know
to
what?
build some
You could
kind
at
of
least,
list.
yeah. It'd be a nice little outing for them before the new book comes out as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I saw today on Warcom the new Caradron Overlords battle tome is on the way. So that's pretty fun. They seem to be coming through these battle tomes thick and fast, don't they?
Yeah, we must almost be at the end of the edition.
Well, I mean, realistically, let's say if we don't get the Old World this year, which I think is unlikely, I think we're more likely to get 10th edition in the summer. If we don't get the Old World this year, it will probably be aimed to come out next summer, and then maybe the summer after that, AOS 4 is that?
Must be. Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
So we're rapidly getting through it, aren't we? I mean, there's got we know there's some Chaos books coming, so presumably Khorne and Slaanesh will get new books. We know there's 2 Death books coming, so yeah. Soulblight Gravelords, Flesh Eater Courts, and Ossiarch Bone Reapers all need a new book. Of those 3, which 2 get the books? I don't know. I'm being selfish. I've got a Gravelord's army, so I'd like to see them. And maybe Flesh Eater Courts if they got a big range refresh similar to the Christmas model they put out.
Yeah.
What about you? Out of Soulblight, Ossiarchs, and Flesh Eaters, which 2 out of the 3 would you like to see?
Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Yeah, because they were a new faction, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
It'd be nice to see, they get expanded a little bit.
Yeah. We could get like archers and stuff for them. It'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Rob Scott says, I went and caught the end of Golden Demon exhibition. It wasn't massive, but it was so inspiring. The armies in the display case was also great to see. Rob Scott also says, roll on the Head Knights and Blades battle tomes aim at. Yeah, when those books drop, I mean, I'm quite lucky. I've got a fully painted Head Knights of Slaanesh army. More, I have enough to put together an army. My Blades of Khorne, again, I've got enough to make an army with. I need to paint a few different, the alternate Bloodthirsters and stuff. But again, I should be able to put together an army for that. So that's me. It's been a very chaos-heavy year or so, hasn't it?
It has.
So I've been quite lucky with all my armies. But then I think with the pace of releases, I think everybody has. You've had Eldar, Squats, and Lizardmen coming in the future, Jay, over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Dave's very excited about the prospect of more Dark Angels. So that's cool. We've got on the horizon the battle box with Vashtor versus Azrael.
Azrael, yeah.
So I know Dave's looking forward to that coming out. And obviously, again, rumours that, maybe 10th edition has a bit of a focus on Dark Angels and the Lion comes back and, all this stuff that we've chatted about in the past on the podcast and on the stream. So I think it's going to be an exciting year.
Definitely.
So yeah, anyone got any books that they'd like to see, or any books that they think are coming, or any wish list stuff? Because honestly, I think some of the far-flung out there wish list stuff is more likely to become reality now, isn't it? We've had
Nowadays, yeah.
Sisters of Battle, Plastic Sisters of Battle we've had, Plastic Squats we've had. A lot of those kind of meme level kind of requests. We've already got models for it. Plastic Zote we've had.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, who knows? I'd like to see the Dark Mechanicum, but I'd like to see them, like with the Leagues of Votan, the concept of Dark Mechanicum, but maybe framed around Vashtor, maybe.
Yeah.
Have him as, if he maybe does ascend to godhood, because that's what he wants to get out of this deal with Abaddon, then could his equivalent of lesser demons be, Dark Mechanicum style demons, so a fuse of demon and technology? That'd be cool. But equally, some would just say that's heresy, Jay. And actually, what you need is Sanguinius to come back.
Oh, I'd love Sanguinius to come back. I mean, potentially, I'm going to get some bad news regarding Sanguinius in the next couple of days when I start reading End of the Death. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably not great news, is it? Let's face it. I think he's a goner. Rob Scott says top 3 for 10th edition that they'd like to see is Emperor's Children, Exodites, and Dark Mechanicum. So yeah, Dark Mechanicum, absolutely, I'd love to see them. Emperor's Children, I think is a given, but that is probably going to be a large release, isn't it? So I wonder if that'd be, I mean, I'd say like new box, but we got the World Eaters with a relatively small model range, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking then, what position were the World Eaters in prior to this recent wave? And actually, they're probably in a similar position to the Emperor's Children. So, a couple of elite units, some cultists, a few characters, and I think you'd be okay. Obviously, Fulgrim himself.
Yeah, I mean, you Fulgrim seems a given, and new Lucius the Eternal model seems a given. We've already got Fabius Bile, who I know he kind of sits outside the Emperor's Children at the minute, but from a lore point of view, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets kind of brought back into the fold, maybe with the Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Noise Marines is the obvious one, is your troops choice, and then maybe some kind of creations of Bile style heavy choice, so like Terminator / Possessed equivalent. Possessed may be a better example of that because we've got the 8-bound for the World Eaters, which is a similar kind of concept, isn't it? It's a corn possessed unit.
Exactly, yeah.
Weird Slaneshi snake possessed to be cool. And then you've got a lot of the current Chaos Space Marine kits could go in there anyway. Stuff like the Slangors for AOS could go in
they
there.
would be good. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's potential of cool stuff there. Tim Unwin's just turned up. Evening, how you doing? Rob Scott says that's my fear. Only a few kits, no sub factions. Not expecting a full range with everything I'd wish for. I think if they come out, I think they would get at least the same number of kits as the World Eaters.
Yeah.
I mean, we're absolutely going to get a Fulgrim model, aren't we, at some point? Because I don't think they'd do it if we didn't get him.
No.
It just seems a bit of a no-brainer, doesn't it? But you never know. You never know what you're going to get. And we get to see a little bit into the future, but where with you with most reveals, if like we don't know what's in 10th edition, we don't know what's coming next month. And we've very often been surprised with stuff on preview shows where, I don't know, we've got, what is it, Adepticon coming up soon. I think that's the next big convention. And they tend to have some big reveals for that, don't they? It wouldn't surprise me if the 10th edition stuff is like nearly here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, there's we suspect Farsight at some point, but then I think that's the last model from the Arcs of Omen series that we've not seen.
Yeah.
Not counting the Lion, obviously, if he is coming.
Well, so they did mention that there's actually 5 Arcs of Omen books. I'm sure on the stream there was 5 of them. So again, I guess logically would dictate that book 5 is probably going to be the Lion, isn't it? I'd be very surprised if it isn't. How do you sit on there? You sit on there like that.
Well, I'm just working on the Jade here, so I've done the first sort of highlight now as I'm building up the layers back, but it's not looking blue enough. I think I'm going to have to put maybe achromatic blue. Yeah, I think so. After the highlights, just to give it a bit of a blue tinge to it.
I mean, that's a good trick. That was one of Louis Sugden's videos, wasn't it, for painting in black?
Yeah, that's it. Highlight with like the blue grey type highlights, and then use the it was a really sort of thin down Pterodon turquoise to sort of tie it all together again. Really nice.
Yeah. Rob Scott says not as many as Death Guard got in time though. So the difference with Death Guard is that they had the double-edged sword of being in a launch box.
Yeah. They did get a lot of models though, didn't they? I remember them constantly getting new Death Guard characters, especially.
They did. It was a big old range release for them.
Yeah.
And you tend to get that if you are... So Necrons, for example, got not a full range refresh. Sorry, not a full range refresh, but near as damn it, they got a lot of new kits. And the problem is, in those kind of launch boxes, because you've got the sprues in that box, and then probably a full range of individual plastic kits coming too, you manage to get a lot of kits replaced.
Yeah.
So the rumours for 10th edition, Space Marines, okay, that's probably going to be Primera-sized things of all the bits that we haven't currently got, realistically, isn't it?
I'd have thought so. Jump packs and things, Terminators, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've arguably seen the Primaris version of Devastators with the new Desolation Marines. It's the same like concept, isn't it? But
yes,
through a different lens. So, yeah, probably assault jump troop guys, all of bits like that. For the Tyranids, they, if they are in the box, have got a lot of old kits that need bringing up to date. So we've got the Termagants, Hormagants, Gene Stealers, a lot of the big monsters that were big maybe like 20 years ago, kind of dwarfed in comparison to like knights and stuff now, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So, yeah. If we do get them, I'll be very excited because I'm painting up my Tyranid army as well. Is there anything like out there that you'd like to see for 10th edition, Jay?
Ooh.
Like someone, was it Rob Scott mentioned Exodites? How would you like to see them do Exodites if they did come?
I would love them to do Exodites. That would be a really, really interesting a sort of aesthetic for an army. And I mean, if you look at the new Seraphon that we're getting, some of the the Raptidons we saw as well, didn't we? The new Salamander. So that'd be really, really cool. I mean, the Eldar Corsairs that we got for Kill Team, really, really interesting sculpts there. I didn't, that was a sort of combination of the Harlequin, Craftworld, and Drukhari in one. It'd be interesting to see what they do. And then, I mean, if you look at there is a lot of artwork of the Exodites, and they look very much a cross between like Wood Elf, War Dancers, and Craftworld Eldar.
Yeah.
But you're looking like second edition Craftworld Eldar with the sort of mesh armor and the cool grills on the Guardian helms. But then you look at what the Leagues of Votann compared to the old artwork for the Squats, and you can see that there are similarities, but the Leagues of Votann stands on its own as its own thing, its own aesthetic, and I would love to see what they would do for Exodites. The problem they've got for Exodites, I think, which is where it will get interesting, and they sort of get around it, I think, with Genestealer cults, is that the Exodites, obviously in the lore, are almost like a colony on a planet. And rather than traveling around on great big craft worlds, which gives you access to the entire galaxy pretty much through the webway and gates and things like this, the Exodites are based on one planet, and their infinity matrix, the place where the Eldar souls go when they die, is centered on that planet. Now, obviously, they are visited by Craftworld Eldar, by Drukhari, by Harlequin, so there are routes off the planet, the webway gates and things like that. But how do you introduce a faction like that on a galactic scale that can participate in the galactic events, which is what all of the other factions can do? You look at things like Genestealer cults, like I mentioned. They've got cult uprisings on lots of worlds, and so you can see how you can introduce Genestealer cults everywhere. Yeah. And it's going to be really interesting if they do Exodites, how they sort of fold them in. I mean, if the Leagues of Votann in the Codex, they've basically lost to the center of the galaxy, and only now they're starting to spread again outwards from the center of the galaxy. But again, they are a spacefaring faction, and they, you can see how they will fit into the events that are happening on a galactic scale. It's going to be really interesting because at the end of the day, if your army is made of dinosaurs, and there's a battle going on in a nearby sector, well, you're sort of stuck on your world. I don't know how they're gonna work around that.
Massive spacefaring dinosaurs to transport between worlds.
And this is it. Do they develop? And then are they still Exodites at that point? Well, the Leagues of Votann, they're not quite squats, but they still have that sort of, the DNA is there. Maybe they can do something similar with Exodites. Either way, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I would love to see them do it. Maybe look at Tau. Tau are a very sort of localized faction in the wider setting, but they still work as an army. So
I think the thing with new factions, the thing with old stuff coming back, like the squats, like the Dark Mechanicum. It's no good to be bound by the past, because you can just change. Law can always be changed, can't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Being a slave to the past law is just setting yourself up for a limited army, isn't it? Limited law, limited, army expansion. Well, it's more interesting if the the rules writers, the sculptors, have got free reign to create something new and wacky and different, while still having the DNA of that army. The Leagues of Votann are arguably squats, but they've taken out the whole cheesy 80s trike riding biker aesthetic and taken the core of what they are. Okay, they're dwarfs in space. How do we make that 40k?
Yeah.
And again, that is the concept with the Exodites, isn't it? It is, like you say, basically wood elves in space, but rather than spirits and animals, you've got dinosaurs. Anonymous Rex says, I expect a lot of resculpts for the Tyranids, as they're the big bads of Space Marine 2. Yeah, I agree, and I suspect that game may have some cool new stuff in it. Rob Scott says, agreed, Jay. I guess them being centered on one planet in lore to date means they can explain why they're not part of the current story, because they're way elsewhere. Anonymous Rex simply says, get them on space whales. Yeah, I think some kind of big space traversing creature, dinosaur, whale, whatever, it'd be really, really cool.
Yeah, they're going to have to really think about it. And that's what I really like what they did with the squats. They've been at the Galactic Core. They're now reaching out again. they did and I said this in the review at the time actually, how impressed I was with the way they developed the background. They made this a faction that, you know, they've been there all along, and they don't just feel shoehorned into the background, the setting. They've actually done a really good job of integrating them into the setting. And yeah, so they are capable of doing it. And like you say, big space whales all over. I guess that's what a craft world is, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could do something like that, far flung colonies, or you know, they could easily create some lore where they're trying to fix the universe, heal these wounded planets, and so they've secretly sent sort of conclaves of exodites out through the webway to these far flung corners of the galaxy and are working to sort of restore the world spirits of all of these chaos damaged planets. And so you could be fighting on a planet, and there's a conclave of exodites that are working in secret on that planet. You know, that's almost like rangers and things like this.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I really want to see these now, Jay. I don't know about you. I'm gonna say these jet bikes are really, really nice. They once I've built this up, I'll get one of the current ones out. But looking at it, it looks pretty much just like it, but better sculpted.
Yeah, that's like the Spartan, isn't it? The Proteus Land Raider. You know, that side by side, you can hardly tell there's a difference, but you do find just some of the panels are a bit cleaner and that kind of thing.
Yeah, crucially, if you've already got an army of them, it's not going to look out of place when you add new ones, is it?
No.
So yeah, once I've got this built up, I'll do a bit of comparison to the current ones and see what they look like. But they are really nice models, and I don't think it'd be a chore to build like 30 of them for a White Scars army.
That's okay. You would be on my side. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Although actually, I mean, with the White Scars especially, I know the White Scars in the lore, they teetered on whether to side with Horus or side with the Emperor. And I think in one of the Black Library books, Jakati Khan finally makes his choice, heads back to the flagship, and the White Scars are tearing themselves apart in almost like a civil war. So you know, you could easily use them as a traitor force as well. You know,
Yeah, you could.
sometimes.
Yeah, and are they going to be loyalist White Scars?
Yeah.
I'm not averse to having a loyalist force. And what I'm thinking, Jay, if I put together 2,000 points of White Scars, I've got 1,000 points of Sisters of Silence and have them ride alongside them.
Yeah, I think there's some lore as well about one of the White Scars characters being gifted with a Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence, sorry, bodyguard as like an honor. I think actually, do you know we were talking about the expanded rules earlier on? If you go in the expanded rules for the White Scars, there is a character, and one of his options is to take a Sisters of Battle retinue, Sisters of Silence retinue.
So in the previous edition of the game, that was the thing. You could take it was especially like say like a special character who, for whatever reason, had an affinity with the Sister Silence. So yeah, I'm gonna put a little force together with Sister Silence. I think a full army of them until the new kits come out is gonna be difficult, but at least I can have them joining these guys, and it's not like 3,000 points worth of White Scars to get. Though I will say, 3,000 points of jet bikes is a lot easier to do now. Since it's like works out about a tenner each per jet bike rather than 36 quid each jet bike. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. But this is nearly together, Jay, which is cool. There's also a lot of optional details on here. I'm kind of a bit shocked that I'm going to be putting an Imperial Eagle on the front of this jet bike rather than the Eye of Horus. I'll have to make sure I do that, just out of habit, not accidentally put the winning side on here.
Well, winning side.
This is really cool. So I don't know if you can see the detail on here. It might not show great on the camera, but in place of a backpack, which always didn't fit very nicely on the resin ones, the kind of the workings of the power armor are wired directly into the engine of the bike. As if
that's cool.
The power armor itself is running off the engine of the jet bike, which again makes sense rather than having his own little nuclear reactor that he's carrying around with him. He just plugs it into the bike, and then that integrates with all his systems. Yeah, it's cool little things like that you see with the You know, where it's been an established kit and they've gone in and gone, okay, well, what about if we did X, Y, Z?
Yeah, and like you say, the sculpting and production manufacturing techniques have improved as well, so they can do cleverer things.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I've enjoyed working on these guys. How many boxes of these do I need then? About 10 boxes, because I want a command squad as well. I think there might be a
And yeah,
slow burn White Scars army.
you might want to get some like chaplains and apothecaries and things on bikes too.
I think so. I wonder the best way to do it. Now, obviously, a lot of them, you could probably do a bare head and have some of their trinkets and stuff hanging off the bike.
Yeah,
Or maybe give them back banners or something.
I know some of the plastic bike squads have like command squad options like banners and the apothecary and things like that. So maybe you can look at some of the 40k range.
Yeah, a kit bash using the Raven Guard.
Yeah,
Raven Wing, sorry. The Raven Wing bikers have a full command squad on there.
I'd love to see a Storm Seer as well, Matt, on a bike.
That's really cool. So I'm about to build now. There's actually I don't know if you can see there on the camera. There's actually a side panel there where you can attach a chainsaw.
Oh right.
But some kind of like staff or something for a Storm Seer would be really good. Just like
Yeah.
slung under there.
With a like a Cyberhawk familiar flying overhead.
Oh, you know what? You could have it like flying alongside the jet bike.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think they're out of stock everywhere. If they weren't, I'd get a few more boxes of these to start converting up into White Scars. So
I think you definitely need to do a command squad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's a given. The kind of the vision of the army is lots of bikes. So command squad on bikes, couple of squads of jet bikes. Each one, I think, with an apothecary attached, is a good investment because they are quite fragile.
They are, yeah.
It keeps them in the air longer. And then I'd want some golden Kasheg. Maybe not a full squad of 10 of them, but a fair number of them to be kind of.
I think 5 or 6 will be cool.
Yeah, a little bit of a hammer. And then in that right of war, basically you can't have any infantry start on the table. It has to be in a transport or it has to come on as, what's it called, outflank.
Yeah.
So I could stick my Ebon Kasheg and Chinchar either in is it a Storm Eagle?
Storm Eagle is the flyer one, yeah.
Or just outflank them, and then they can walk on. Some Xiphon interceptors to escort it. Very fast army. Probably relatively fragile and expensive in points, but they can get to the objectives and do some damage. That's my theory for it anyway. Right, I am gonna have to stick an Imperial Eagle on here. What is the world coming to? Is there any legions that you've always fancied doing at some point in the future?
Oh man, there's loads. I actually would love an Ultramarines Legion, but the only thing that puts me off building an Ultramarines Legion is I've got a massive Ultramarines 40k army, and I don't know whether I'd want another 4,000 points of Blue Marines on my shelves. Yeah. But having said that, I really like some of their special units, and I really like the Heresy colour scheme for the Ultramarines. But like I say, I think the next Heresy army I build is going to be the I know the next Heresy army I build is going to be the Blood Angels. So,
Blood Angels, eh? That'd be cool. That'd be cool, especially if you get Commander painted up to go alongside them.
Well, that's it. Yeah, some cool battles with the Blood Angels and Commander.
I'm really looking forward to them releasing some more like narrative books.
Yeah,
you know, we've got the core rule books and the. I guess we've still got a couple of army books left to come out, haven't we? The Demons of the Ruined Storm and the Militia and Cults, which I wonder if that'll be one book or two books maybe. It feels like maybe one book in the same way as the Custodes and Solar Exilia and Sister Silence that the Loyalists got. Have one with all the demons and weird militia cults and stuff. Which hopefully isn't too far off because we've seen that model shown off I forget what it's called. It's basically an assassin for the chaos, the traitor.
Yeah, like a
forces.
demon assassin thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really interesting.
So that presumably is a model out of that book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which hopefully means that he's not too far off. We tend to get these books quarterly, which means soon, in the next month or two, in theory, we should see the next one. Though they did say way back, like when the game came out last June, was it, that we'd get the Demon's Rules on Warcom soon, and
Yeah.
it's all gone a bit quiet on that. So I don't know if there's been some delays in that, or maybe they weren't completely finished, and they just, the book's out soon, so we may as well get it in the book.
Yeah, I wonder whether there's been a bit of tweaking to the rules based on some feedback or something. Obviously, it's been out now for a while, and there's been quite a few Warhammer World events as well. So they've probably collected quite a lot of data on and they want to keep it balanced and things. So maybe there was they were too strong, or they were too weak, and they needed tuning a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's what's delayed them.
It's interesting because I imagine they do an awful lot of playtesting. When they can. I know a lot of people, perhaps think that things get rushed out the door. I think honestly they probably do want to make things balanced, because you don't want a Votan situation where the book wasn't even out yet and they had to fundamentally change some of the things in the army, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So yeah, it is interesting how things like that happen. How does this fit in here? Just goes under there. Right, let's put some glue on this. These are really cool models, Jay. Would you ever add any jet bikes to any of your armies?
I do like the jet bike models, actually. I don't. I mean, it's not a unit that I would add to like my Imperial Fists. If I was building the White Scars army, for sure, but I don't know whether I would for other armies. Having said that, I really like the Javelin Speeders, and I do add them. I've got some Javelin Speeders in my Imperial Fist, and I want to add some Javelin Speeders to my Blood Angels as well. I'm sort of hoping we get plastic Javelin Speeders that I can add to the Blood Angels, to be fair. But they seem more like a themed sort of, although I don't know, a unit of them is probably okay.
I mean,
but
for I think certain armies tend to, I guess, like you say, they feel well with. So Emperor's Children, if you're a traitor, I think suit kind of this kind of thing, don't they?
Yeah.
How do they hook on? We've got that there. In the chat, Anonymous Rex says the Peachy interview with a former GW rules writer shines some light on the in-house testing. I've not finished watching that episode yet. I do really like the kind of interviews and episodes that Peachy's been putting out. It is interesting to see, I guess, behind the curtain on some of the stuff internally.
Yeah.
Have you been watching them, Jay?
I haven't watched many of them. I've watched a few of them, but I don't really get a chance to watch stuff, really. If I'm not doing Sprues and Brews content, I'm listening to my audiobook.
Yeah. Venerable Gamer 4 says, good evening, chaps. How are you doing? What are you working on? Are you painting anything exciting? I'm trying to find where these stick on these models. We're building some jet bikes for Horus Heresy, and Jay is painting up Lord Croak. Are you glad you picked up a Croak then, Jay? It does look a really cool model.
I'm really happy I picked up Lord Croak. He's going to be a good centerpiece. I'm not sure how often I'm going to actually use him in a game, but it's useful to have a character. If I need to just build a big army quickly, I can just throw this guy in. Yeah. And it's nice to paint him. Well, in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, I can't wait to paint the generic Slan that we're going to get.
Yeah. I take it you're hoping that those are sooner rather than later then.
I would love to go to the team tournament and take the new Lizardmen.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd really quite like to do the team tournament if you guys are free.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
The other events that are up coming soon, there is a Kill Team narrative 2-dayer, where some games are traditional Kill Team missions, some games are Gallo Dark missions, and there's going to be
Okay.
a narrative thread throughout the whole weekend. So you've got your Kill Team and telling their story. That kind of stuff appeals to me.
Yeah,
We've
that'll be
also
cool.
got some one-day events as well. There's a one-day Kill Team event, again, with a mixture of traditional and Gallo Dark missions on a Friday for like 20 quid, which again is tempting. And
That's
there's a
cool. Yeah.
one-day 1,000 points Age of Sigmar kind of casual event as well, where they've written the entire mission pack and all the missions and stuff you can download off Eventbrite. So that's pretty cool as
Ah.
well, because apparently after the last one, there was some feedback that some armies don't work so well at 1,000 points. So
Right. Okay.
they've built a new rule pack. I think no unit can be more than 300 points, 325 points, something like that, to stop you from taking a big Death Star unit at 1,000
Right.
points.
Okay.
Also, there's a minimum number of characters you have to take as well, to again stop you from taking, I don't know, one cheap character and loading up with
Got you.
troops.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
to take so that thing, because 40k AOS works very well at 2,000 points, where I think 40k maybe scales better at different points levels than AOS
Yes, it
because of
does.
the way you build the army. So that's interesting, that, and I wonder if that they've got it pitched as kind of like beta rules in the event pack. So presumably that will then turn up in some kind of supplement later on, or maybe
Yeah,
even
I
the
did.
next edition of the game.
Yeah, General Hamlet. I did see Steve Wren posted some rules specifically for the AO Guzzler. So the what are the giants called?
Yeah, the man eaters.
Yeah, so the rules to take the smaller giants as characters.
Yeah, which is cool. Which again, if you play the 1,000 points and somebody rocks up with two giants, two mega
Yeah,
gargants, it's probably not going to be a terribly fun game, is it?
exactly.
Where
Yeah,
if they can't take the mega gargants because they're over this points cap, and you instead take an army of tooled up kind of
AO
small
Guzzlers.
giants, yeah, that's a really cool thing, and I quite like it when they do stuff like that. So
Right, Matt. What do you reckon of this? Don't know if you can see it very well on the camera. I'm sort of picking out the jade and the edge highlighting it, and applying the edge highlights actually has sort of made it look really good, I think.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, that looks cool. He's coming together, Jay.
Yeah, he's got a bit of colour on him now. I've got the old metal one here. This is from when I had a Lizardman army years ago.
Oh
This one's a
wow.
lump. He's like the same sort of weight as your Tyranids.
Yeah.
But he's actually not. He doesn't. He's not too sort of size wise. He's very almost the same, I'd say.
Could you fit him on it?
Well, let's have a look. I reckon he probably could. That's. I mean, his palanquin's a lot smaller, but the actual. There you go. Yeah, he fits on quite nicely.
There you go. That's really cool, actually, Jay, isn't it? Well, that's ace. Oh, I'm kind of I'm happy that you kind of got the Lizardman vibe, because I think you were wandering for an AOS army for a while, weren't you?
Mm. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was. I didn't really want to add any more to me Lumineth because I'd spent an entire year or year and a half painting them.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with how they are. And then I was like, oh, I don't know what. I couldn't really. I was hoping we might have seen some of Malarian Shadow Elves or the Kanofi or some more dwarfs, but then the new lizards, yeah, perfect, they'll do.
Yeah, I got a feeling Shadow Elves are going to be more of a next edition jobby,
Yeah, I think you're right.
or the bridging storyline between editions.
They could be, couldn't they? Yeah, like like you say, a story arc with Tyrion, maybe.
Yeah, like the Arcs of Omen, we get some stuff introduced to them. We get a few kits, and then eventually a full wave of models. So I have completed the first plastic jet bike, and I've got, for comparison, a resin jet bike here. Let me move these instructions out of the way so it focuses a little bit better. So size-wise, I'd say they are pretty much the same. If I center this on the table, the resin one might be a hair longer, But honestly, side by side, there's not a lot in them,
Okay.
is there?
No.
So, detail-wise, that's the resin one. And then plastic one underneath it. And I've got to say, painted up, I mean, really at the minute now, just because one's grey and one's kind of white, you can kind of tell which one's resin. If they were both primed the same colour, I don't think you'd really be able to differentiate between them, Jay.
Excellent.
And obviously we've got some additional details. So on the plastic one, there's, if you can see there very well, there's a little Auspex scanner there, just hanging from the side of it. We've
Oh,
also got a
ace.
chainsaw hanging there, and then on the other side, we have got a little bolt pistol in a little bag hanging there. So really nice details. Over on YouTube, Jack Harkness. Evening, lads. Enjoying the chat tonight whilst I knock some of the new Cadians up. They are really, really cool missions. And we've also got Mr. Steve Wren in the chat as well. How you doing, Steve?
Oh, hi,
Spec
Steve.
Ops Kill Team will be great. It's all Into the Dark mission. So is that the 1,000 point? Sorry, the 1 day event. I'm very tempted to get tickets to these. I think it is Monday, I want to say, when the tickets go on sale. It might be the following Monday. A week on Monday off the top of my head. Problem is, again, too many events, too little time.
Well, yeah, for a kill team 1 day though, that's doable.
Yeah, and I know you've been tempted to get involved in that as well. You know what I'd like to see? Some boarding actions, mission, event maybe. That'd be really cool. Because
Yeah, with some really cool tables.
yeah, because the benefit of that is that people can use the kill team's a little bit different. That obviously you're gonna need all your different operatives. So to maximise your I forget what it's called, but your army list, similar to Infinity, where you've got all your different operatives and you can draw from that your team for the mission. But in order
Yeah.
to do that properly, you're probably going to need a couple of each kill team box to get all the variants in there. Where with boarding actions games, it's more like 40k, isn't it? So you're building basically a small 500 point army.
Yeah.
Two different. While they're both kind of set on, cool spaceship corridors, they are very different games. Kill Team is super brutal. We had some games, didn't we? Back.
We
did some
had
streams,
the
didn't we? We did some streams with
we
the
did
Cadians versus not the Cadians, the Custodians
Krieg.
versus.
Well, we did the Krieg versus the Orcs, and we did Custodes versus G Steel Cults.
Yeah, and they were both super brutal games.
Yeah.
We need to get those on again. I think I need to get the Gallo Dark scenery painted up. I've got behind me somewhere the Arbites, and I really fancy using them as like my kill team this season because they're cool space cops, aren't they? You can't go wrong there. Dave is tempted by the Dracaria out that same box.
Oh, the pirates. Oh, right, cool.
Because Dave whispered to me the other day that he'd quite like making a Dracaria army sometime in the future. But if he starts off with a kill team and then picks up there's a boarding action box coming out soon, and if he picks that up, he's got enough models to then use his kill team, expand it into a boarding actions game for 40k.
And then 1,000 points.
Oh yeah, and then 1,000 points. You wouldn't need too much more on top of that to have a small 40k legal game and be able to play all three systems with a small force that he wouldn't necessarily build to like 2,000 points, but it gives you a little bit of a variety. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I do like that we've got that in both systems. Like you say, your chameleon skinks. Yeah, they'll be painted through your Seraphon, but you'll finally be able to play some games of the new.
Oh yeah.
The new edition, won't you? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Right, this guy is going to move out the way. We're going to move this guy here. Let him dry. And I think for the last part of the stream, should we have a look at the Arbites?
Oh yes.
So we have got, and again, massive thanks for GW for sending us Soul Shackle earlier. Like I said earlier in the stream, unfortunately, with shipping delays and the vagaries of the warp, we didn't have a chance to get this done for the review for the unboxing for when the game came out. So instead, we're going to be working on it probably over the next few weeks on the painting stream, and that includes the scenery as well. We'll probably do a bit of an airbrush masterclass again, Jay. You remember like we did when I did
Oh
the
yeah, with
Swinging Horus
Horus.
vehicles? Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of painting up terrain quickly is kind of going to be the vibe, which is cool. So the hardest bit with Kill Team is deciding how to outfit my Kill Team. So what I'd always say is check out the rules, and if we get to the Kill Team itself, I think they're further on, you can see what you can take in a exaction squad. So if we get that onto shot there. So you have an Arbites Proctor Exactant, who can be given either a combat shotgun and repression baton or a maul and assault shield. Now, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, with the kill team stuff, eventually you probably do want to have one of each loadout to allow you to, I guess, maximize the kill teams that you can build.
That's it. Depending on the mission, you might want to take different equipment.
Yeah, and sorry guys, that's not focusing very well. Let me just play with the camera a little bit. Hopefully that grabs it there. So combat shotgun or the shield. You can then take 10 operatives out of the list, and there's a load of different things you can have. The main things to keep an eye on, your gunners, you can only take 2 of within your kill team. So that's your special weapons, really. Grenade launcher, heavy stubber, or Weber, you can have 2 out of those 3 within your kill team. And again, if you do pick up multiple boxes, you can then build the variants that you haven't got and pick the ones that you want for your mission. So I'm thinking maybe a Weber and I don't know.
Oh, the
Weber's cool.
Webbers.
Weber's cool, isn't it? But I don't know whether to go for a grenade launcher or a heavy stubber. Either or are really cool options.
Grenade launcher.
Grenade launcher is cool for kicking down a door and firing a grenade. But then, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Now, if you look at the instructions, some of the bodies only accept certain parts. But what I've found is if you really, really want to build something that's maybe built with a different body, with some cutting and reposing, you can generally get any part to fit. Some of them work really nicely in any body. Obviously, I guess a more crouching one or a kind of marching one might work better with certain parts. So I'd always work out kind of like roughly what you want for your kill team and then work out what you can make from one box. Steve says both narrative and the one-day event are both fully into the dark. Okay, awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I am tempted by both of those.
When is that? When is that?
It is. If Steve tells us before me, I'll head over to Warcom and see if I can beat him to it. Because they've got over on Warhammer Community.
Beat Steve. Come on. Quick.
Yeah, over on Warcom they've got the next couple of events. So where are we? Major events at Warhammer World. So 17th and 18th of June is the team championships. So that'll be really fun. If you've not done one of those before, basically you've got teams of 4 and then a drafting kind of mechanic as well. You guys had great fun playing that one, didn't you?
Yeah, the good thing about that as well is if your team loses, you can blame it on the other team members. It was never your fault.
Awesome. Steve says once we've done all the Into the Dark terrain, I suspect that boarding actions will happen as well. It's like a 2-for-1. Amazing. Yeah. Jack Hartness says wasn't really too bothered about Kill Team before that box came out. The Arbites are beautiful. Awesome. So yeah, Team Championships the 17th and 18th. We've got Conquest of Generals 2, which is the 1,000 points AOS one that I mentioned, Jay. That's Wednesday the 7th of June, and I believe it's only £20 for the tickets, which is a bargain. Escape from the Gallow Dark is the 24th and the 25th of June. That's the narrative 2-day kill team event. And then there's Critical Ops on the 23rd of June. That's your 1-day £20 match play mission. I'm very tempted by the narrative play kill team event, Jay.
Yeah, in June, definitely. And that's plenty of time then to build a narrative kill team as well.
The 24th and 25th of June. So what kill team would you bring then, Jay?
Right, okay. So let's assume we haven't got a Leagues of Votann kill team.
Unfortunately, so Leagues of Votann... I don't think, unless there's one in the final box this season, we again, what we are now? We've just had the Arbites come out, so February, March, April, May, maybe for that. So
Yeah,
you
and
might have something, and it depends what's in there, doesn't it? Is it going to be Space Marines versus Tyranids, as we've kind of suspected?
yeah,
You know what? You could go for that Space Hulk vibe and have Leagues of Otan versus New Gene Stealers, maybe. You never
yeah,
know.
possibly.
Or we're
Well, I
completely off the
mean,
mark and it's something completely different.
yeah. Well, all right. Hang on, let me just check because Astartes kill teams. There's quite a few of them, isn't there?
There are, yeah.
Is there a
There's
Terminator?
You can build. I'm fairly certain there's a. I haven't got the compendium to hand. I'm fairly certain you can build a.
Scouts, Tactical Marines, Reavers, Intercessors. I don't think there is. So I was thinking, oh, I could do a Blood Angels Terminator kill team. Maybe I could do a Blood Angels Death Company kill team.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. We've got the for the more like bespoke ones out of the supplements. There's the Phobos armor kill team. If you want a
Yep.
scouty vibe for your Blood Angels, maybe.
Well, they'll be Death Company of the Blood Angels. They won't be scouting.
Okay, Death
They'll
Company.
they'll
Okay.
just be.
Okay, we're going all in with murder Marines. I'm fairly
Yeah,
certain
you don't send us the Death Company to scout. Well, I can get them painted up as Death Company, can't I?
Yeah, that'd be
They've
really
retained
cool.
a little bit of their free will and tactical sense.
I mean, if you're
What else
scouting
could
on
you?
board a spaceship,
Oh,
you're just running down corridors screaming anyway, so that probably would work, wouldn't
yeah, exactly.
it?
What else could you take? What else could you take? I mean, you could go completely wild. Can I could take like a chaos faction.
You could, yeah. I mean, that's a good thing with Kill Team. If you
That's
wanted
it.
to
Yeah.
dabble with something, you could always give that a go. I mean, there's
No,
the
dabble. If you're thinking about dabbling with chaos, that just leads to damnation.
it always ends
That's how
badly.
That's how it starts. That's how the Horus Heresy started. Horus just dabbled with a bit of chaos on Davin, and then look where it ended.
Well, there is a cool Kill Team that you could use, Jay. That's not
What's that?
an old kit kind of retrofitted into it, and that's the Void Scarred, the
Eldar Corsairs.
Eldar Corsairs, and use them for Kill Team.
Yeah.
That's
right.
more on brand for you, Jay.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable playing that faction.
And I'll just kick people's doors down as the Space Police.
Oh, do you know what else? The Crew warband was actually quite cool. I think Andy was messing about with the Crew, wasn't he? Actually,
I think he was building them last week on the stream.
Yeah, let Andy keep the Crew then.
And I think Andy he wants to get tickets to the Kill Team event as well. It'd be cool if we all went down to that.
Yeah, we like ourselves some narrative.
We do like ourselves some narrative. Jack Hartner says there's been a few room rangers with new Votan in, so it could be Kill Team. I don't think it'll be Terminators. They would have done them for the Dark Angels in the new box, I would have thought. Well, I don't know. I do think at some point we might see new quote marks Terminators, Primaris Terminators. I just think that's surely something they could add, and that'd be really cool.
Well, they're the ultimate kill team. Oh, I know what my kill team's going to be, Matt.
Oh, have you locked it in? Are you browsing the GW site?
No. It just when we just said then they are. I was going to say, Space Hulk, Blood Angels, Terminators. They're the epitome of kill team, but they're not, are they? Death Watch, a Death Watch kill team. That's what you got to take. Yeah.
Yeah. If you go into an alien ship, you want the best to deal with that.
Exactly. Yeah. There we go.
You're sending the men in.
Plus, there's that. I don't know if anyone's been to Warhammer World recently. It's probably been there a while, actually. There's a really cool converted Death Watch army in the cabinets in the shop. I'm not sure whose Death Watch army it is, but every time I go in and look at that, the amount of conversions and character that army's got, it's beautiful. Real inspiration.
So is that what you're thinking then? A Death Watch?
If we don't get Leagues of Otan and we don't get a Terminator kill team, then I think I'll do Death Watch. Because it only needs to be like a 5 or 10 man kill team, doesn't it? So I don't need to go to town. And I mean, I could really customize the characters there. Necron weaponry, Eldar weaponry.
Yeah, you could actually. And with it being a narrative event as well, you could write a cool bit of narrative for them too.
Yeah.
Because that kind of event as well, you could create a nice little display board for them, have a bit of backstory for all your guys. Your
This is
base of
Bob. He likes killing
operations.
Xenos.
Yeah.
This is Bill. He also likes killing Xenos.
Tim Unwin says, "What about firstborn Vanguard vets without jump packs?"
Yeah, they're nice models as well.
Yeah. I guess, who do you want crawling through a grisly alien spaceship?
Well, the Death Watch for sure, or Blood Angels Terminators. There we go.
Well, there we go. That's easy then. That's easy. Well, I'm definitely gonna bring the Arbites, as is, I suspect, like 90% of the people going to the event. I think
They are
they've been
nice
a
models,
popular
though.
one, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are nice models. I mean, there's so many parts on this sprue, and I'm hoping by then, maybe not. Hopefully by then, the individual kit's out, so I can get another box of these and build all the variants that I haven't got.
Yes.
Because it's going to be good fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think we should do it. I'm sure we could convince Dave to tag along too.
Yeah.
I wonder what he'd take. He's partial to the old Death Watch too, isn't he?
He is, yeah. A guard one maybe with his
Oh, of course, he could take the Karskin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe his Karskin are built for Kill Team as well. Well, they are, because I built them for the review. So yeah, they are built for Kill Team. You might need it again. Another box of them to have different options, so he can sub them out for depending on the mission. But again, he wants to pick up another box anyway to round out the weapon options. So win-win. So yeah, we'll do that. That'll be fun. Well, that was easily decided, wasn't it? What Kill Teams for taking? I'm currently building the Nuncio Aquila, which is the little kind of floating loudspeaker.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple of options. You can have them attached to the leader, which looks a little bit odd, or you can actually, I don't know if you can see on this image here, you can actually have it on a separate base, which is what I'm
yeah, cool.
going to do, because it looks cooler there. It seems it takes up a lot of kind of real estate perched on his shoulder, and that also means that I can give my guy a shotgun in one hand and a baton in the other for beating people to death, because it's all about police brutality in 40k. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be cool. And then, are you tempted by any of the AOS ones? The 1 day AOS 1,000 points with a little bespoke.
The 1,000 point, yeah, that does actually quite tempt me, because I think even if we don't have the new Seraphon, I'll have 1,000 points of skinks and dinosaurs, so that might be a good one to go to. The problem is if there's too many of them in June, I'll only.
There's only so many weeks in June.
Yeah.
So Adam on YouTube says there's a distinct lack of Xenos in these choices.
Oh yeah,
that is true. Now, Adam, Andy, fellow Sprues Brewer, will be taking the Kroot, who are again a really nice kill team.
They are those ones where they've been they came with the kill team boxes. They're like the Krieg, the Orcs, the Kroot, and it was the Sisters of Battle as well. Did they have one?
They did. I forget what they're called now. They were like novitiates. They're called. They're like trainee Sisters of Battle. Work experience Sisters of Battle.
Compared to like the Tau Pathfinder. Although actually I didn't mind the Tau Pathfinders. I thought those upgrades were quite cool for them.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of the upgrades are very cool. A lot of people kind of turn the nose up at the kill teams that are just an old kit with an upgrade sprue, but they do look really nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're nearly at the end of the stream, Jay. It is 5 to 9.
What?
I know time flies when you're having fun. I have managed to build the start of my kill team, Jay. A little flying loudspeaker with eagle wings.
Kill team servo skulls.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Now, where's the weapon option? Where's the options for building him on a separate base? We're going to do that. We want a 25mm base, and we want parts A157 because I think he looks very cool. Separate. Is that part on there? I can see it's there. It's there. I'm going to say some sprues are very chaotic where the parts go. This one
They
seems to
are.
be arranged quite nicely.
I remember thinking that when I was building the Brutalis Dreadnought the other day.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than it's like everybody knows a USB plug has got 3 sides, hasn't it? You plug it in, doesn't fit. You turn it around, you plug it in, it doesn't fit. You turn it around, it fits. And it's often like that when trying to find parts on a sprue, isn't it? You'll check every frame like twice until you find it. And especially when it's the ones that get me are the ones that look quite like logically laid out, where all the similar parts are together, and then there'll just be one part which is on a completely different frame that's still in the box, just to throw you off, to keep you on your toes. And then there's kits like the Orcs. The speaking of kill team, the what are they called? The original kill team that came out with the Octarius box. Commandos.
Yes,
Commandos. You build one model, and every part is on a different sprue on different sides of the sprue. It is crazy. So how does that go on there? We've got that there, we've got that there, and that's flying over there. Yeah, these are cool models. I can see why this box has been so popular, because who doesn't want space police with cool stuff like this? Right, let's stick some glue on that. So yeah, we're in the last couple of minutes of the stream, Jay. How's Lord Croak progress been for you?
So the Jade is almost done, which is, and I didn't know whether I'd get it this far tonight, but I have, so I'm quite happy with that. It still needs a bit of work on it, and like I say, with this model, I'm not rushing him. I'm just enjoying painting him. So I'm taking my time building up this green because the Jade is quite it stands out on the model. This like blue green color, so I need to do a good job with it. Really, there's no disguising it.
Yeah. And it makes sense to take your time with it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I've enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I'm much happier with how the back of the Jades turned out compared to the front. There was some much crisper sort of lines. I could get really neat looking edge highlights on the back, whereas on the front they were more rounded. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going back and applying some shade again into some of the recesses just to make it pop again. But you know, sometimes you do have to go back and touch up a bit of the model. And I do think what I'm going to do is have a little play, maybe with a tiny bit of it, just to see whether I can add a bit of a blue glaze to it, like you say, just to make, because it's very green at the moment. Although I have to say the edge highlights have done a good job with making it pop. So
yeah, I think that looks good, Jay. I think you did a decent job with him. Well, I haven't done any painting tonight, but I have built some stuff that is really fun. So we built up the Jetbike for Horus Heresy. Really, really nice model, and I can't wait to expand that further into a White Scars force. And I've also made a start building my Exaction squad for the Adeptus Arbites, and there is the little hovering speaker system, I guess. I just need to stick him to the base, and then that's done. And then I can start building some space police. I'm hoping if I can get some of these built for next week's stream, we'll start painting these guys up. I've also, before we finish, just got to finish off my Hive Tyrant as well, because I want to take him down to the open day at Warhammer World.
Oh yes.
Weekend, so I need to finish him off. He needs the base doing and some more. Like, I'm thinking some really vivid, like orange highlights on some of the skin areas. But yeah, it should be cool. So, can you believe it, Jay? 2 hours have flown past doing some hobby.
That is crazy.
You're having fun, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
So, what we're going to do is head off now, sadly. But we will be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. working on some more hobby stuff. Hopefully next week as well, the Crusade Battle Report first episode should be out. Dave's been frantically editing that, and it should be a really, really good one. We've also got all sorts of stuff coming. Eldfall Chronicles unboxing should be up next week, and our reviews of issues 1 and 2 of Stormbringer magazine, they should be up too, and all the usual cool stuff. So thank you for watching. If you don't already, give us a follow or subscribe on Twitch or YouTube. We do lots of stuff like this: painting streams, battle reports, unboxings, all that cool stuff. Also, if you'd like to support the site, head over to Sprues Brews. We've got an affiliate link for Element Games. If you purchase anything through that, we get a little bit of a kickback that helps support the site. So that would be massively appreciated, and you get some cool toy soldiers too. But yeah, until next time, have an amazing weekend, and we will see you all soon. Have a good weekend.